and my pronouns are she, her, POIs verbally. So my speech will start now. The main thing to consider in this debate is not really about whether banning something is good or bad, but whether the ban is actually really necessary in the status quo. It's our team's burden to prove how the ban actually don't solve the problem that OG is actually referencing, like how people are facing a lot of things from like sickness or diseases from those cheap meat, and we'll further explain on how they actually have a wrong understanding of factory farming altogether. So coming straight to the responses and also the rebuild cases from our side of the house. First of all, they say to us that like they provide to us an alternative that should be better quality food, like a lot of other alternatives out there, like lab grown meat, a system that's able to help, and also the government will reach out and help also. The thing that makes their argument so flawed is that whether it is really practical. Because OG is bringing us into this picture perfect world where lab grown meat or other sustainable ways can be easily achieved and can be easily accessed. And they never provide to us how people like farmers or like the government actually have incentives as of right now to fully outright ban all factory farmings and fully replace them with lab grown meat or fully replace them with other kinds of sustainable farming alternatives. In reality, it's not always like that. The people that usually do factory farming are mostly farmers and people who have like average intelligence. It takes years and months to be able to produce lab grown meat, and surely the people who are mostly likely to do those kind of jobs are scientists. Also, long research has to be done whether the human digestive system would be able to continue eating this lab grown meat in the long run, which is to say that we're just trying to prove how like outright banning is not really a solution if they want to create a better food security system for all people out there. And I'll further prove this in our argument as well. And they also said to us that there'll be more competition, like farmers, they are poor and they're less likely to guarantee nutrition to all of us. And like for the minorities, even if they're able to buy cheaper meat, they're probably going to die from eating those kind of sickness or inheriting those kind of diseases into their body. Basically, OG is having a wrong understanding of how factory farming actually works. We do agree that they keep animals in cages and it can be overcrowded, but the thing is that they have strict conditions and they have strict rules as to how they're going to raise those animals. It's not like they're just going to put animals there, do not feed them anything, and let them die and then sell them to people. That's not how it works. Just like any other food production, I'll take them later, they need to make sure that product meets the demand, like meets the food criteria from the USDA, like the Food and Nutrition Service. And the same goes to factory farming, which means that you need to actually have like the criterias and the paperwork provide to those organizations to prove that they're like you're actually providing enough nutrition to those animals and you're providing enough like the place is actually clean enough to be able to meet the criterias of the USDA. And if they import their meat to other countries and it doesn't meet this criteria, then this meat is not enough. So basically what we're trying to prove here is that factory farming does have condition and it is strict when it comes to those kind of things. Before I move into arguments, I'll take that POI really quickly. POI? If there's none, okay. Okay, so the thing that we're trying to prove here is that on how it's not how you characterize factory farming as inhumane, because let's just say that we're like humans nowadays, we're consuming factory farming meat every single day and we're still not dying. But what we're trying to say is that those factory farming has to meet the criteria of like clean meat to be able to provide to the rest of the world. And for our argument here, I want to say that like factory farming is actually really necessary to feed a growing population and how the alternatives never works because the global population it is projected to reach nearly like basically 10 billion by 2050 and banning factory farming would actually lead to higher food prices and reduce the availability of other animal products and this will actually make it harder for low income populations to access food as a whole. And we also like to mention how alternative farming methods actually do not work as of now because, like I said, it requires significant land or significant resources, and it's difficult to meet global demand. And without factory farming, like food shortages would rise because there's no guarantee as if we ban factory farming altogether, where would we have the resources to actually provide and sustain more sustainable farming, which is like take TikTok, for example. It has been banned out for one day and it reappears the next, which we want to say that outright banning something never works as a whole. Very proud to oppose.